This is the Ryder and Lisa replay.
Brought to you by Southtown Hyundai. Check out the Southtown Hyundai Advantage at southtownhyundai.ca.
Talking about Naomi Osaka withdrawing from the French Open after not showing up to a press conference. She did warn them that she wasn't interested in doing press because it just takes too much out of her mental health. We're talking about if there's something about your job that truly, like you, hey, you would love to see it eliminated from your role.
Tips wrote in saying, road construction, using porta potties sucks. I want high-end mobile bathrooms with running water. Ooh, business idea?
Yeah, get one of those ones that they bring out to like outdoor weddings that are like super fancy.
I just think it's really funny how many people wrote in saying pretty much the same thing. I hate how my job makes me show up. Going to work, period. A lot of people
just not wanting to go in general.
Not content. Is there anything that you dislike about your job, Ryder? I've never heard you complain. Ever. Because me personally, it's getting on stage at events and stuff. I just get really nervous. Like once I'm up there, I'm okay. But the anxiety beforehand, I have such bad high blood pressure because of it.
Okay, I have one, and I haven't had to deal with it in a long time. But it's when we're on location at a business.
Okay.
And if the business owner is like super invested in everything you say, and they're like, no, sound happier.
So you're talking about, for people listening that don't understand what you mean by on location, it's like when you hear a live commercial where Ryder's like, hey, I'm down here at this, come on down.
And like they'll hire, us and me, and then when I go up and I'm myself at the remote, they're like, no, we want it like this. And it is their money, so you understand. But
totally.
I have to balance the fact that like I have a brand and I want to sound like myself. I'm not going to change the way I sound to, you know what I mean?
I just imagine one of our regular listeners hearing that and being like,
what's wrong with
something's fishy. Does Ryder have a gun against his back right now?
Honestly. So like I said, it's been a long time since that's happened. It's only happened probably 2 or 3 times in my career. But I'm like, when it does, I really want to just like drop the microphone and walk out of the store. And we're definitely not allowed to do that.
Imagine if you were on air and you're like, actually, don't come down here. Would not recommend.
Play 107.
At first glance, a man named Edward, a 27-year-old high school dropout with an extensive arrest record, might not seem like a prime candidate to do much more than what he was probably going to jail for, a 20-year drug conviction.
Wow.
Yeah, so he's standing in front of this judge. The judge's name was Bruce Morrow. But instead of sending him to jail, he actually challenged him. He said, I'm going to let you off, but I'm going to challenge you to become the CEO of a Fortune 500 company instead of being out on the streets selling drugs again. And this guy's like, you know what? I love a good challenge. 16 years later, he's in court again, but it's because that judge is swearing him in as a lawyer.
Really?
How cool is that?
Yeah, that's a really awesome story.
So now he's an attorney. This is in Michigan. What a cool outcome 16 years later to be able to like say it's the same judge too. What?
Cool.
Tell me something good.
My story also has to do with 2 people reuniting after many years. Childhood sweethearts that dated in junior high and high school to the point where like their relationship was serious enough. He proposed to her at 15. Their parents thought that they were too young to get engaged.
That's crazy.
Fair enough. They ended up going to college, different colleges, and drifted apart, broke up. Years later, like 22 years later, they see each other as their kids are attending the same school. They've both since been divorced, and they started chatting again. It turns out that they were trying to send each other like letters from their colleges, and they weren't getting to each other. So it's like the real life notebook story.
Was he like, hey, you still got that ring pop I proposed to you with
Honestly,
when you were 15?
Well, funny you say that. He still did have the ring that he proposed to her with that like the parents made him take back. And he proposed to her again on their recent vacation. So 22 years after he tried to propose the first time, they actually are tying the knot.
This is a great reminder to never give up. It could happen to you. Whatever you want could happen in 22 years.
Great reminder to slide into all your ex's DMs.
Perfect.
Tell me something good.
It's time for Unsung Heroes. This is where we give shout outs to people, places, and things that don't always get the attention they deserve.
Shout out to patios opening back up today on the first day of a heat warning. I can't wait to be stuck in the chair. I don't know if it'll be because I just want to keep drinking and enjoying the sunshine, or because I'm physically stuck from SWAS.
Gross. Shout out to the Heatwave for giving me a reason to have the pit stains that are there every day anyway.
I am so sweaty. Always. Even when it's minus 40 out, I'm like, pit stains, can't wear white.
Exactly.
Shout out to Starbucks baristas this time of year, having to just blend milkshakes all day, every day. Sorry about that.
Yeah, like 1 out of 6 actually has coffee in it.
Yeah.
Shout out to a new study proving that being prone to road rage is actually genetic. So if you see Lisa's mom on the road, avoid at all costs.
Excuse you.
That's genetic. Runs in the blood. That's where you got it from.
Deb is a sweet angel.
Not on the road.
Okay, I have one that is kind of nerdy because it's like Broadway-esque musical theater. So you probably won't get it, Ryder, so don't even bother reacting, okay?
Okay.
Shout out to it being the 20th anniversary of Moulin Rouge, right at the end of May.
I tried to sell it.
Did anyone get it? Come with me.
Shout out to the last couple of Leafs and Habs games for drawing the largest audience to any Stanley Cup playoff game ever in Canada. Apparently, I'm not the only one gladly willing to sacrifice some time to watch Toronto lose.
Shout out to reunion shows for entertaining me by letting me dissect who had the best skin regime over the past 17 years. Looking at you, Jennifer Aniston.
And who had the most plastic surgery? And finally, another one for Toronto. Shout out to the Hockey Hall of Fame being built in Toronto for being the only way Leaf fans can actually see what the Stanley Cup looks like.
Okay, I'm so excited with how many musical theater nerds listen to our show.
They're pumped about.
Oh, they love it. Come on.
Okay. That's funny because I'm checking the text line right now and I don't see anything.
Ryder.
I'm just kidding. Whether we are expecting a high of whoa today, and then tomorrow expecting a high of bazoonga.
Can you give us some actual temperatures?
28 today and 31 tomorrow. It is holy moly right now. The situational 7 at 7 this week, taking a look at the best situational scream. Let's go through some of the honorable mentions that haven't made the cut for the top 7.
Right.
Sports team losing scream.
Okay, when the Oilers were out, Ryder went straight to the kitchen and just screamed into the sink. Then he went outside and screamed into the void. Grim.
The good thing is I know the neighbors are big Oiler fans, so
they understood.
They would have been like, oh, that's fine. We feel the same. Another honorable mention, chased by an animal scream.
Does it have to be a wild animal or any animal in general?
I mean, I play tag with my dog, and when he's chasing me, I scream like I'm a toddler. So I think any animal fits the list. And then a bug in hair scream. I don't understand that one.
Well, it's a very unique scream. It's like a... Ah! It's like one of those.
Okay, good. Let's go through a few of the top 7 before we get to like the top 4 coming up in a few minutes. Number 7 is winning an argument with a scream. So like when things are getting really heated and you can use your voice to maybe put an end to things. That's
and it
a good
works.
Scream, yeah. Number 6 is girls seeing each other for the first time in a while scream.
I can't believe this wasn't number 1 on the list. It's my favorite scream.
Number 1?
It's my favorite scream. It's annoying to everyone else in the establishment, and I live for that. I love it. I want to make all of you uncomfortable right now.
And number 5 is the fed up and alone scream.
So alone in your car.
Shower, maybe, bedroom, into the pillow. Any of that could work for the fed up and alone scream. Always feels good to get it out, right? Mm-hmm. The top 4 for the situational 7 at 7 best situational screams coming up. There's still room if you want to text in your favorite.
Yeah, we could change our mind.
To wiggle its way to number 1, yeah. We're about to embark in the top 4, but first we had a couple more honorable mentions. First off, end of a good stretch scream was just texted in.
So good.
That's from Adam. Great suggestion. Almost made the cut. You had one that you wanted to add to the honorable mentions, Lise?
Yes, I would like to add when you pretend that you're Jennifer Love Hewitt from I Know What You Did Last Summer and you stand in the middle of a parking lot and scream to the skies, what are you waiting for?
Okay, very specific.
You don't remember that scene?
I don't.
What are you waiting for?
Ooh, yeah, good. Love the energy. Let's get to the top 4.
Yeah.
Number 4 is getting scared or scaring someone scream. Like, really scaring your partner when they come around the corner, those kinds of screams.
It's genuine. It's real.
Terrified. Number 3 is the roller coaster scream.
What's a roller coaster?
It's a roller coaster in Boston. Do I say roller coaster?
You said roller coaster. I liked it. It was fun.
Okay. How do you say it?
Roller coaster.
Oh, boring.
I don't get on them, though, so I wouldn't know. Maybe if you get on them and you enjoy them, that's when you start saying roller coaster.
Number 2 is the good news scream. Like, we're having a baby, if you're hoping to have a baby. Or, like, you're getting married in a couple minutes.
Eek.
Those good news screams. And number 1 is the, the bedroom, the adult time scream. I'm all too familiar with that one.
That was a great situational 7 at 7.
Yeah,
Good
thanks
job,
for
everyone.
all the suggestions.
On Play 107.
Let's talk about this new innovation for aviation. Whoa, rhyming.
Cool.
They've come out with a concept for a double-decker style seating. So I guess it's kind of hard to explain, but I would think of it as an M. So one seat would be like where the bottom of the M starts. The next seat would be up where the top of the M goes, and then back to the bottom, and then back to the top. So it'd almost be 2 layers, but there's some overlap.
Right,
there.
and it's still all on one floor. It's not like you're walking upstairs to the second row of seats.
So while you're sitting up straight, it wouldn't be as comfortable as like a normal flight is, but when you recline, all of a sudden you've got a lot more leg space and you can recline backwards a little easier.
So on the airplane, when you go, like let's say you were seated up one of the top of the M's or whatever, top of the mountains, how many stairs do you think it is? Like how many steps is it to get up? Like 3?
Not even. I would say maybe one big step, maybe 2.
So wouldn't that mean that the person at the top's butt is right in front of the people below?
Yeah, so like the bottom of the M, that's the problem I'm seeing, is that like their head would be even with the other person's butt, and because it's a little bit tighter, it could lead to some awkward situations. Like, think about it. How many times do you go for a flight and you stop in at Chili's for some, like, enchiladas and Caesars before your flight? Almost every time.
I don't like thinking about people and their flatulence on a flight to begin with because there's no window to open.
Right. And, like, turbulence farts when you get nervous. A lot of people are nervous to fly in general. They'd just be gas dropping the whole time. Like, also this... I would assume some of the worst gas you ever have would be after like a week at an all-inclusive, drinking tequila and, eating beans.
Oh, dude, my 14-hour flight home from Thailand was the worst experience of my life.
Yeah.
I wasn't okay for like months after. Well. I wasn't okay for months.
Especially if you're partying hard, like you're not eating properly, you're not... getting proper sleep, you're just a gassy, sweaty mess. It doesn't work.
I will say that I like it because of the space, because nothing bugs me more than having to wake someone up that I've never met in my life to be like, can I use the bathroom? Mm-hmm. You got to step over them.
No, but you still have somebody beside you on the flight.
Oh, this is the worst. This is the worst invention ever.
Well, you thought they were just a single
I thought you got like your own little space. That's why they had the whole double-decker.
No, it's for leg room. So like we were saying with the M, it would be like you could lay out on the M at both the top and the bottom. So you'd get more leg room, really.
I just pray that the next time we go on a Play 107 trip that it isn't the system and you're not in front of me with your butt in my face because you fart a lot.
Hey,
Ryder and Lisa.
two-headed therapists where we give
Advice.
one
Word.
at time. 780-784-7107, whatever you need help with. What can we do for you today?
Hi, guys. I was wondering, after the pandemic, how do I go back to drinking an acceptable/normal amount of alcohol?
I
Would
start
eating
more
that
way
you
can
handle
your
booze?
better.
Okay, I like it.
Okay, have a good day. That's what we're here for. 780-784-7107. Shelly asks, my husband will wash and dry clothes, but he never folds them. Any suggestions?
I
Would
recommend
starting
to
throw
the
clothes.
out.
That's it.
That's it. Period.
Yeah, throw his clothes out. You don't fold them, you don't get them. And finally, Brennan asks, I really want a house that's on the market. It's a little over my budget, though. What do you think I should do?
I
Think
you
should
pitch tent
I had no idea where you were going with that.
in the yard.
Yeah.
Then it's still your property, but you probably won't have to pay anything. No? That's bad advice?
Yeah, I think that one kind of sucks. So we are in the middle of a heat wave, and it's going to stick around the next couple days at least. 28 today, 31 tomorrow, 28 on Thursday. When we went through a heat wave, I believe it was last year, a couple years ago, we checked in on a great friend of mine, the late Ross Hill, who was the world champion bullfighter at the time. And we checked in on him. He's from Muscle Shoals, Alabama, and they have heat waves all the time. So I figured we'd go back and just have a listen to some of his tips to get us through the day.
It's going to make me sad, though, because I miss him calling in.
Yeah, it was a tough loss this year for sure. Here he is explaining how to get through the heat wave.
Okay, so number one to stay cool is get out of the sun. Number two would be fish at night. Come on, people. Night fishing's just as good. Come on. The aluminum foil is the number one trick. I mean, I should have started with this, but obviously getting out of the sun is probably more important. But to keep your house cool, put some aluminum foil on the windows, shiny side out.
Okay, but wait a minute. When I want to make baked potatoes, I put tin foil on it. I always thought that helped, like, heat up the potato.
Man, I ain't no potato expert. I don't know.
Would you be shooting the heat back at your neighbors, too, if you lived really close?
That's possible. That's very possible. I didn't think about that. Don't cook inside. Grill out. That's another one of them things. You know,
Grill out.
you know, wear no or less clothing, whatever you choose. And another thing you got to think about, Ryder, that you guys probably have not thought about yet, but down here in Alabama, we do it regularly. Put your bed sheets in the refrigerator.
Whoa.
It's amazing, let me tell you.
You got to make sure they're clean, though. You don't want dead skin on your carrots.
Well, we got two refrigerators, so, you know.
There it is. Some tips from world champion bullfighter Ross Hill.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, indeed.
One thing that I just noticed out of that call is you mentioned carrots in the freezer. Is that a thing?
No, refrigerator.
Oh, I thought he said he puts them in the freezer. Now that would be nice and cold. Some frozen sheets.
They'd be really hard to, like, put on the bed, though, I think.
Ryder and Lisa.
Brought to you by Southtown Hyundai.
Play 106.